Hi, how are you all? I hope you're all really good. Welcome back to Kirsty's Booked. I thought I would do something a little bit different today, and I thought I would show you all of my annotated books. So this is something that I used to be really scared of, and I know a lot of people are. I am very much like, I do not crack the spines of my books as much as is physically possible. I try and keep my books in as good condition as possible, so when I started thinking about annotating, I was like, I don't think I can do it. I was like, it's writing on books. I don't think I can deface my novels like that. And I kept seeing all these gorgeous annotated books, and I was like, I would love that, but I just don't know if I can do it. And then I was just like, you know what, Kirsty, just go for it, just try it. It all got too exciting. I was like, I'm just gonna do it, and I love it. I absolutely love it. It does take significantly longer than just reading a book, and I usually only annotate on a reread. There's some people that annotate every single book they read, and good on them, but I couldn't physically do it. And I am someone that annotates a lot. Like, a lot of people would just put a few tabs in or highlights. Like, everybody does it in their own way, and I think that's the magical thing about annotating. Like, I've had a few people, when I post about annotating my books and post my annotated books, and people are like, oh my god, how do you annotate? And I'm like, it's such personal preference. I've got some categories that follow through in every single one, and then there's some that are completely niche to that book, and some of it changes throughout. A lot of the time I run out of tabs of one colour, so it sort of has to change halfway through. So it is a very personal thing to do, and you can there's no rules to it. You can do whatever you like. Some of my annotations are really like literary. Like, I'm an English lit student, so sometimes they are like critical, and sometimes they're just like my reactions or me just like talking to the characters. Like, genuinely, they're probably a bit crazy, but I love it. So I really enjoy annotating. I usually annotate on a reread, because then I know that I love a book, and I also have then got an idea of what I'm wanting to mark out and what's important and things like that. I have got one book just now that I'm halfway through, just about, that I'm annotating on a first read through, but it's because I've read the first book in the series and annotated it, and I want to have the full series annotated. So, but all of the other books are rereads. I've got them all here behind me, so I'm just gonna get started. So, okay, what you will find with a lot of books in this pile is they are popular books. They are popular Bookstagram and Book Talk books. That was the books I got into when I started reading properly and getting into the book community. So a few of them might be predictable, and you might have you've almost guaranteed, I can almost guarantee that you have read these books, or at least some of them, but I'm going to do it anyway because I really like them. So the first book is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. These are the annotations for it. This is probably the least amount of annotations I have ever done. Sort of from this, I just went a bit mad. So this one I reread because I was part of a book club discussion for it. So I wanted to reread it and annotate it for actually discussing it. I don't remember if I actually ended up going to the book club, but I know that that's why I reread this. I love this book. I love TJR. I haven't read her books in a while, actually. I think I maybe got one more, and then I've read her whole bibliography. But she's an amazing author. This is definitely one if you're wanting to like try out the historical fiction sort of genre. It's literary fiction, I would probably say. A lot of people would categorise it, I think, as women's fiction. I would categorise it as historical literary fiction. So it's sort of got a bit of both. Her writing is just so easy, and the plot twists in this are actually insane. Like, genuinely did not know what was coming next. I cried at this. I very much distinctly remember crying at it. It's so immersive, and yeah, there is just something about her writing that it's so escapist, and it just like comes to life on the page. So yeah, I would genuinely recommend this one if you haven't read it. I imagine most of you have, but it's really good. Anything written by Taylor Jenkins Reid is amazing. This is probably her most famous, I would say. Either this or Daisy Jones and the Six, I think. but this one's really, really good. But yeah, this was my first attempt at annotating. The second book I ever annotated was actually a hardcover. I don't often annotate a hardcover. I actually didn't hate this. I don't know what that was. Hope it wasn't important. A lot of people will not annotate a hardcover. I don't mind it actually. It's a little bit more difficult to be able to show you the pages, but I think it looks quite cute like that. What does annoy me about this one and Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, I think after that I start changing it a bit. I actually don't think so. And there's 2 more books after this as well. Is what I was doing with these is the tabs that I was using was just the set of tabs that you get. Like, let me show you. So I was just using like a full set of tabs like this and just going with the colours that were on the tabs. And what I do now, and what I start doing about halfway through this pile, is I start trying to match them to the cover, which is like my favourite thing to do. Genuinely one of my favourite things of annotating is at the start, like trying to match my tabs to the cover. And I know at this point I didn't have as many tabs as I do now, so it probably wouldn't have been possible, but I think for a cover like this, like I love this edition so much. I have got another edition, but it's like a special edition. I love this edition so much. I think it's so cool. I would have loved to have had matching tabs to the hardcover. I think that would have been really, really cool to do. But I don't. And I'm not going to go back and redo it. Like, it's just all a learning curve. But yeah, I really, really enjoy this book. I don't actually know if I've said its name. It's Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmis. This again is like a historical literary fiction. Again, could be categorised as women fiction. This one was really, really good. I'm not a historical fiction fan. Even then, I'm also like literary fiction. It's either a hit or a miss for me. It's either incredible and I love it and I really want to reread it, or it's one where I'm just like, don't know where I sit on this. They're very interpretive, I think, and you can take what you want from it. This is amazing. It's iconic. It is, I think they've made a TV show out of it, but I'm yet to watch it. I'm always just a bit scared of adaptations, especially of a book as amazing as this. It is a very feminist novel, but I love that about it. It is just like, it's quite funny, it's really interesting, and it's that kind of, should I like them, should I not? Again, really unpredictable. The plot twists are like, whoa, hang on a second, but genuinely really, really good, really empowering. I like this one a lot. Okay, and then we have got The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. I would be very surprised if you haven't read this. These are my annotations for this. This is where I start going a little bit towards the cover. But again, there's some that I think this could have been done better. This is where I start like doing a lot of annotations. Like there is a lot of tabs in this novel here. I also sort of change up my annotating style, usually like book by book. Some of them are really highlighter heavy and some of them are really pen heavy, and it just sort of depends what I feel and the more confident I get. And a lot of these have just got like little notes at the side, whereas you'll see my more recent ones are just like scribbled all over. But yes, if you've not read this, please do. It is a classic. You will sob your eyes out. I have read this, I wondered if it was maybe 3 times. I think it might just be twice. I've also watched the film. The film is really good. Obviously not as good as the book, but I will say that they do a really, really good job of the film. It really helps bring it to life. But John Green is amazing. These are one of these books that I think are just like a rite of passage to have read. Read this first when I was a teenager and then reread it. I say a teenager, I'm still a teenager, but like when I was younger, and then reread it I think a couple of years ago, and I really, really enjoy this one. It's just one of those that just tugs on your heartstrings. It's just one of those books that you have to have read. I love it. I really, really do. It's worth the heartbreak. Yeah. All I've got to say, really. Okay, the annotation tabs on this really, really annoy me because it doesn't fit the cover at all. And even the cover with its beautiful permanent sticker I love so much. It's The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. Now, I will say, on first read of this book, I was like, this is exceptional. This is absolutely amazing. But the more books I read, and I think also on the reread of it, it's maybe not my favourite book of all time. I think it was very, very hyped up. And I'm not saying that that hype is misplaced, because I very much did enjoy it. And it was one of those books that when I was getting into Bookstagram and when I was getting back into reading properly, I loved it, devoured it. It was amazing. But I will say it's maybe not quite as incredible. If you're looking for a workplace romance, yes, definitely. It's kind of like enemies to lovers, rivals to lovers type thing. There is a beautiful bit of nursing back to health. I actually can't remember what else is in it. I do remember it being incredible the first time I read it, and I think the second time I read it I was a little bit like, oh, okay. And I think I was influenced by Bookstagram's opinions of it. I think a lot of people have began hating it, unfortunately, but I would still say it's a really, really good book. It's maybe not quite as exceptional as some of the others on this list, but in terms of, if you can hear that, I'm really sorry, it's the cats. I was taking advantage of being home alone to like film these videos and not get interrupted, but the cats are doing that for me. So but yeah, so it's really, really good. It's got really good romance and banter, and yeah, but the annotations are maybe not my best. Okay, I'm going to do the next two as a set, because I did try and match their annotations similarly. They're not the same. These are very much where I started trying to match the tabs to the covers. I did like bring over quite a lot of them because I wanted it to look cohesive as a set, which I think it does. I am a little bit annoyed that I haven't annotated the third one in the set, but the only copies of the third one I've got is the special edition copy, which I'm obviously not going to annotate, and one that's got like red sprayed edges, so I just don't think it would work really well. And I annotated these. I love this series so much. I annotated these because I left it years between reading A Good Girl's Guide to Murder and Good Girl Bad Blood. I left ages before I picked up As Good as Dead, and I'd forgotten what happened. So when I was rereading these, I was like, I'll annotate them. So I had so much fun doing these. This is the A Good Girl's Guide to Murder series by Holly Jackson, which I love so much. If you have not read these, please do. They will always be one of my favourite books of all time. They're probably my favourite books that I own. Not these ones, but the special editions are like the most incredible things I've ever seen. I'm not going to show you them all. If you want to check them out, I think I've got them in a special editions video on my channel. But these are amazing. I had so much fun doing these. These are where I start getting really annotation heavy, just because of how much I love these. Wow, there's a lot in that. Yeah, there is a lot in these, but I really, oh, that's the wrong way around. They've also done a TV series of A Girl's Guide to Murder, which is really good. I would genuinely recommend it. It's definitely on BBC. I watched it on the iPlayer. I watched the entire series in the day it was out, which I don't regret at all. It was amazing. It's really good, the TV series. Obviously it's not quite as good as this, and they did leave out quite a few major plot points, which was a little bit of a shame, but the cast is really well cast, and they do a really good job of it, and Holly Jackson is very involved, which I always think makes for a really good adaptation. But yeah, so I'm hoping they're going to do a second series to do Good Girl Bad. In fact, I think, have they announced a second series? I think they've announced a second series, so I'm really excited for that. But these are YA murder mystery. They're so unpredictable. The characters are incredible. The romance is actually amazing. It is a very subtle subplot, but so worth it. Couldn't predict these at all. I love this world so much, and these books are genuinely some of the best books I have ever read and will ever read. Okay, and then I have got When in Rome by Sarah Adams. This is a really heavily annotated book, and I don't actually know how I've managed to fit these in, because they're one of the ones where it's like it's genuinely thicker here because of the amount of annotations that are in this book. If you can't tell, I love Sarah Adams so much. This is a small town romance. It's between a baker, I believe, and it's like a singer, I think, and she wants to escape from the public eye for a bit, so she ends up in Rome, Kentucky, and ends up at this guy's house, and it is a like grumpy sunshine small town romance. I'm so sorry, that's the cats again. What I love about Sarah Adams' writing is it's completely clean, but it is so, oh, the chemistry. She writes them so well. You fall in love with the characters. I absolutely fell in love with this book, this romance, this village. I think there's another book in this series. I think Practice Makes Perfect is like this. It's an interconnected series, and I believe there's another one coming this year, I think, which I'm really excited for. But yes, this is one that if you're looking for like kind of pop star, if you're looking for a small town romance, it's perfect. You'll really enjoy it. In relation to that, we have got The Cheat Sheet by Sarah Adams, which is one of my favourite books of all time. I love Sarah Adams, if you can't tell. She's just a master of perfect romances. And if you're looking for clean romances, she's your girl. She writes them so well. Now, I will take a spicy romance, but it's like, I'll take it with a pinch of salt. Like, I don't mind a little bit of smut every now and then if it helps, like, reinforce the romance of the book. Definitely go for it, but hers don't need it. They're so perfect. This is a sports romance. It is between an NFL player and and a retired ballet dancer who is now like a dance teacher. This is amazing. I think it was my first Sarah Adams that I read. Genuinely one of my favorite things. They're one of my favorite fictional couples. It's just perfect. Again, it's the same compliments as with When in Rome. The banter is amazing, the characters are amazing, the romance is amazing. This has also got a bit of like found family in it. Yeah, it's just perfect. Now I'm just going to touch on this one ever so slightly because I have a full review of it in my top 10 books of 2024. It is The Butterfly Assassin by Finn Longman, which I have just finished annotating. This one was very much a case of I was running out of tabs, but it is kind of matching. It's a bit brighter than the rest of them, given some new tabs that I've gotten, but I'm currently on the second book of this series in the middle of annotating it. I won't show it yet because I'm only halfway through, but I love this series so much. YA dystopia, unpredictable, emotional. Please go and pick it up if you want to hear more of my thoughts. Check out that video. Now, I wasn't going to show this last one. I decided I wasn't going to show books I'm halfway through annotating, because sometimes I do find when I'm annotating a book, especially on a reread, I do sometimes get a bit bored if it's taking me too long and I know what's happening and I'm like, no. So occasionally there's a few that I have given up. So yeah, and I'd also kind of forgotten about this book, but I'm going to show it to you really quickly. Thanks for that, Belle. It is Cloud Cuckoo Land by Anthony Doerr. This is great, thanks for that. This is the most I've ever annotated a book. This is a little bit different because I annotated it for academic purposes. I wrote my advanced higher English dissertation on this in high school, but I just wanted to show you because this took me an insane amount of time. I will always be very proud of this, and I know a lot about this book, but I'm not going to bore you on here because when I start ranting about it, I will keep on going forever. But yeah, it's a little bit different, but there's that one too, which I would definitely recommend. It's like literary fiction, kind of fantasy, kind of sci-fi. It's a bit of everything. It's amazing. So yeah, that brings me to the end of today's video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you'd like to like or subscribe, that would mean so much, but genuinely the fact that you've made it here is still amazing. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. I would love to know if you annotate your books or if you've read any of these books. But yeah, I will hopefully see you all soon for another